smooth on the map, never smooth on the map, never smooth. What you gonna do when you at, who you with, you ain't really about that, don't did, don't do. Really on the move on the map, never.
Happy to have you on the show. How you doing?
Well, hey, doing great, and I appreciate you having me down here so we can talk about our beautiful city in Gas City, and we're proud of it. We're passionate for it, so we're excited to talk a little bit about our city and what you're doing here at the State House.
Well, thanks, Bill. One of the things that has just been so apparent since the moment I've gotten to know you and met you probably a year and a half, 2 years ago now, you have a love for the people that you serve that is probably like second to none. I mean, you just really care for your city. The other thing that's so interesting about you, and I think people need to know this, you actually are an independent when it comes to political affiliation, which is important because the last time you ran, you won with 87% of the vote, and we were just talking off camera here, that means 87% of the people couldn't just pick R or D, they had to go in and find you. I mean, that tells me that the people love you just as much, if not more, than you love them, if that's even possible. And I think that speaks volumes to somebody in the world of government and politics, where you're like, man, he's got a rapport with the people of Gas City. Tell us your journey. So how did you start off? I mean, in business, but then you felt compelled to jump into governing. Like, how did you get to where you are today? Because you're doing a fantastic job, and I want the people of Indiana to just really hear your story.
Well, I'm kind of like you, Mike. I've always been a server. And back even when I was a child growing up, my parents had a restaurant, or the restaurant business, and we just served people. And so it went from the restaurant business to owning food concessions, which are giant tenderloins, elephant ears, corn dogs, the good stuff that you
good
get
healthy
at fairs.
stuff.
And my wife still does that. I get the credit because it's got my name on there, and so I let people give me the credit. No, actually, she works her tail off and does it.
And it's good. I've actually gotten to have some of the food. I think when we were up there for, I think the concessions were out for one of the concerts, right?
Absolutely.
You put them out in the concerts, yeah.
Yep, you came through there.
Yeah.
You've seen some of the concerts in the park that we do on a Tuesday night, every Tuesday night through the summer.
Amazing. You have some great acts that come through as well, yeah.
A lot of fun. Carly Pierce has been there in the past, and we're looking to get her back to our Performing Arts Center in the future.
Just built that opened 6 months ago?
Yeah, it's not quite a year old
That's
yet.
amazing.
So,
That's amazing. So Gas City, as I remember it, when I was at Huntington College in 2000, was essentially a podunk little town. You had a gas station, maybe, a park, and that's about it. When I went back and got to know you, I mean, it's humming. I mean, you've got industry wanting to come there. You've got people that are looking to move there. You've got activities like the concerts in the park. You've got, you're looking at, you just have the Performing Arts Center that's beautiful. That's really, that's going to draw national acts. It already has.
It already has, and we want to get you up there to play sometime, Micah, because I know you're into
it.
But we're passionate for the city, and one of the dreams that we wanted to do when we ran for politics, I was retired at the time from doing an outdoor fishing and hunting program that was on the Outdoor Channel. Sold the program. There were some sponsors there, and I didn't feel like that we had marketed the interstate the way it should have been. So that was the passion I had. Give me one term, and we'll see what we can do. Well, in the one term turned into 2 terms, and we brought in 2 new hospitals, a new hardware lumber yard, a Dairy Queen, a Performing Arts Center, and we're working on a new Y. We've got a splash pad. We've got an outdoor fitness area. We just opened up some new pickleball courts. So creating a quality of life, I think, is what you and Governor Braun are trying to do for the state of Indiana, too. And if you create a quality of life, I believe it brings people to your state and your city.
Yep. So Gas City, 6,000 people roughly. How many people live in Gas City?
Well, I'm going to jump that up there, Micah.
Okay.
It's 6185. So I'm not going to shortchange.
Well, of course you would say that exact number because you care for every person in Gas City. So you know exactly the number of people in Gas City, and I think that's telling of your character. So how did you go? So give the audience watching a strategy from the executive branch in a small town like Gas City to really birth something that is now drawing people there? Because there's a lot of really small towns in Indiana that have a ton of potential. They just don't really know how to get that train moving. What did you do? How did you make that happen from day one to where you are now?
Well, from day one, we started making several phone calls. Actually, the second week that we were in the office, my city engineer, Jason Miller, and I were sitting in there, and I said, Jason, we've never, for 35 years, had a hardware lumberyard store. And he goes, I just did a survey for one. I said, what is it? He goes, Gilman's Do It Center. So we called Charlie, which is Charlie Gilman, and he was skiing in Colorado, and we reached out to Charlie, and he said that we were the first mayor that had ever reached out to him about coming to the city. And I could tell you the whole story there, but Charlie says, I'm skiing here. I said, I understand that, but you couldn't be skiing because you answered your cell phone. I said, so put your butt down in a bench, give me 3 minutes, hang up on me, or we'll move forward. He started laughing. He goes, you know what? I got to meet you.
Okay.
I'm not saying we're bringing anything to your city, but that's how it started. And then we just continue to make phone calls, Micah. So as you know, you're hustling around the state. I see you there, and that's what we do. But in a small grassroots city, we probably make 5 brand new phone calls a year, not counting our 5 that we're maybe following up on. And as you know, following up is the key to getting them. We're working on a company that is going to spend $1 billion in our city. And
that's the largest investment into the city, I think, that you said it in the history of Gas City?
In Grant County.
In Grant County, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even across the river where it's rainy all the time.
Mayor Morrell, we won't mention his name here, but I will say, Mayor Rock and Mayor Morrell, they've got a fun relationship to watch. So if you've ever wanted to see competition between, basketball teams, football teams, mayors, you got to check out this relationship. And so we did have Mayor Morrell on. He was the first mayor we had on, but you are the first independent mayor that we've ever had on. So,
I've told Mayor Morrell over across the river, so finishing second in contests usually isn't too bad, except for when there's 2 people in them. And, I
love it. I love it.
Definitely.
You guys are always trying to figure out or to compete who has the best fireworks show on 4th of July. So.
We're really not trying to figure that out, Micah, because we already know who does. And, that's not even, and I went and watched it with him. And it's a funny story. So I sat over there and watched his fireworks, and I'm like, that's it? So the next night he comes to my house, he's sitting in my yard, and the first finale goes off. And he said, I go, wait, where are you going? Hold back. So we have 5 finales, and he's just like, he goes, I got to step my game. I got to step my game up next year.
That's awesome. I love it.
They might be called that. I don't even know if they're the Christmas capital of the world anymore, because we light up our whole Main Street on both sides, every business. If you haven't had a chance to come through Gas City at Christmas time, you're missing out. It's like a Hallmark Christmas city.
That's amazing.
It's beautiful.
What's the history of Gas City? So why is it called Gas City? Was there oil wells there, or is that
natural gas? The town used to be called Harrisburg.
Okay.
And then we hit into some natural gas, and we started using them for street lights. We started bringing in a lot of glass factories, and it was really booming. And so they changed the name.
What years would that have been? So would it have been mid 1800s or?
Yeah, I would say in the 1800s, maybe the early 1900s. And when the gas ran out, then but we'd already changed the name. So instead of Harrisburg, it's Gas City, and now we call it just Boom Town with all the things that are happening there. It just things are booming here and booming there, and we're excited about the future of that city, and we're getting ready to put another 350 homes there around a 20-acre lake.
Yep. Which I think you drove me around that area, and that was a beautiful area.
Yep.
What's drawing people to come and work, live, and play in Gas City? When you're selling somebody Gas City, can any socioeconomic economic status really find a home in Gas City, or are you kind of saying, okay, hey, we're kind of that lower middle class and we're trying to move it up, or is it upper class and you're trying to, what's kind of, is it blue collar, white collar? Is it how do you kind of look at the demographic of Gas City and say, well, this is kind of who we are, but this is, we'd like to step into this lane at some point too?
Well, we tried to become diversified since the glass factories and our natural gas and everything went out. It happened in our in Marion too. All the manufacturing ran out, so they lost population. We wanted to be diversified, so we went medical, we went distribution centers, we're going manufacturers, we went retail, and we went mom and pop. We're right between Fort Wayne and Indianapolis on Interstate I-69, so we have about 40,000 cars that go down the interstate every year, and then we're right on 22 and 35, which is about another 15,000 that go back and forth. We've created a quality of life for people, so when they come through our main street on 22 or 35 or I-69, Monday night we have gospel at the park. Tuesday night we have concerts at the park. Wednesday night in Fairmount, a near city over by us, has another concert in their park. Thursday night we have free movie nights for people that go out to our performing arts center, so we let them go in there free and watch kids' movies or adult movies. And then on Friday night, we have our First Fridays. There's usually something, the Christmas lights that I mentioned, where we light up the city, but we're always trying to show people when they go through. Our First Fridays are held right on our courtyard, that when they go through, they see a town that is playing together and staying together.
Yeah.
I'll go back to the Christmas in the lights. The first year that we did it, I had a pastor, Mark Axon, come up to him and he goes, "Hey, Bill, there's a lady from Utah who wants to meet you." And I said, "Sure." So she comes over. She goes, "We were driving through this town 2 hours ago and pulled over. This reminds us of a Hallmark Christmas program."
Wow.
And that right there
Wow.
was enough for me
High
to
praise.
say, we're going to get better every year with it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Who knows? Maybe Hallmark will actually film a Christmas movie in Gas City. So usually it's fictional names of the town. So maybe we can just call it Harrisburg again.
We can do that. We can start there. And,
yeah. Well, okay. So Mayor Rock, what is been the biggest challenge being a mayor? What would you say to other people, other mayors that may be watching, or people kind of trying to get involved in local government? What's kind of been that thing? I say, man, that was a good learning problem, or a good problem I learned a lot through. Maybe stumbled a little bit. It's been the sort of the thing that you look back and you say, okay, that was the thing that really, if I would have known before, would have been helpful. What's been that one or two things that you could look back and say that was a huge challenge? I
would say that being a good person and knowing what you're wanting to do, the trust of people. There's times that you're doing what we feel is really good quality things, and you'll have somebody, so you got to have thicker skin. I always thought, hey, we're doing something that's good. Nobody should be complaining about this. We got new streets, we got new sidewalks, we got new industry, we've got new restaurants, we got everything coming in, and there's always that one or two people. And you always hear the one that complains probably the loudest, as opposed to, hey, you're doing a great job. Yeah. But you just got to learn when you're into it. And I've talked to the mayor over in Marion too about that. I go, just move forward. If you have a dream, follow it, catch it, chase it.
So I would imagine, you winning with 87% of the vote as an independent almost seems like unanimous. That's as close as you get to unanimous support in politics.
Yeah.
And yet, even still, there are people that are yelling and complaining and criticizing you. And I hope people recognize and hear that, because I think sometimes in the world of just anybody's world, like whether you're a leader in business or in school or in politics or wherever you are, wherever God's called you, there's always going to be somebody that's going to find something to complain about. And so you just got to let it roll off your back like water off a duck's back. And so it's almost encouraging to know even a mayor with such high, favorability ratings like you have, you still find those naysayers, even in your almost perfect little town, of Gas City. So it's nice to know that it's not just people in one city or another. You got to learn to lead through that, and then when people get real cranky with you, I mean, what's your typical response? You tell them to go pound sand, or do you smile, shake their hand, just let them vent? Like, how do you typically walk through those?
Well, generally, and we had one, we put in new streets, concrete streets out in one of our areas, and we had a lady that would complain a lot about water standing here, there. Best streets in the city. I'd never do concrete streets again.
Okay.
They'd all be pavement. But so I just went by her house, knocked on the door, said, I'll say her first name, Pam, where's the water? And she showed me, and I go, well, that's, this is Sunday, and there was not even enough water to, probably got your shoes wet if you stepped in it. So I said, I'll send the water department out, and we'll take a look at it. We'll locate it, and if we find something, we'll fix it. Mm-hmm. I go, but let me tell you something. I said, I could walk around this neighborhood and give everybody a brand new $100 bill, and I'd give you an old one, and you'd complain. She goes, no, I wouldn't, Bill. I go, yes, you would. You know what? She has become probably one of my biggest supporters since then. But I try to face them straight up. But, another key to the success, too, is having good people around you. Yeah. We've got a good police chief. We've got a good city engineer, an attorney, human resource. And you put people around you that you can trust, and you go to and tell them the project, what you're coming up with. Yeah. And I think only a few times have they looked at me and said, man, you're nuts. And I said, only that. If you ask my wife, she'd tell you that every day.
So you turned a critic into a supporter just by showing up at her house, giving her an ear, and taking her concerns seriously, but maybe not necessarily maybe fixing anything if there doesn't sound like there's anything to be fixed. Yeah, that's amazing. Go ahead.
My cell phone, my office rings with my cell phone too. Okay. So, matter of fact, I think it was Caitlin called me on a Friday to tell me you guys were changing the appointment, and she was kind of surprised that I answered the phone. I go, well, I answer the phone all the time. It's like Friday, and I said, sure. I go, what do you want to talk about? But actually wanted to talk about you ditching me, but that's okay, Micah. So, no, I understand.
So funny.
We get busy, but. That's another thing too. I always want to be so if you get somebody that says, I tried calling you, got no response, all I got to do is look at my cell phone, because my home phone rings there, my business phone rings there, and my city hall finger. Yeah. So it's a
busy phone, man. I tell you what, you're getting a lot of calls. So what's the 10 years out? You may not be mayor. It sounds like you one more term, but 10, 15, 20 years out, what's your hope for Gas City? What would you love to see Gas City really step into in this next decade? The Bible says where there's no vision, the people perish. So I think you've got great vision. How do you solidify that, hand it down to the next leadership team that comes in? What would you like to see Gas City become in 20 years?
Well, and I've mentioned this story a few times, and actually a few developers. We've got a couple of new hotels that are going to be coming to our city too. But they said, we want to compare your town to Fishers. We can remember when it was a village of Fishers, a town of Fishers, and now it's a city of Fishers. And we're not going to miss out on Gas City. We really feel that between what Gas City and Upland have going on, one day you're going to drive through Gas City and go into Upland, and you're not going to realize you left Gas City. We have 3 universities now there. We have Taylor University, that's right there in Upland. And now we have St. Francis out of Fort Wayne. It's right there where Leffler Academy. So they just bought land there.
Okay.
And we'll be expanding. And then I was talking about the $1 billion investment, 450 new employees there. We're working on a possible corner slot of another business. So we've got probably 10 businesses looking at coming to Gas City, and we've got another 8 businesses that have signed POs and are ready to build. And then we're getting ready to build homes. So we don't want the hospital employees or Samina Recovery Center just coming there and working and then going back to where they live. We want them to live there
sure.
and spend money and become part of our community. So that's the future I see. I'm like an old oak tree, the seeds planted. I'll never see it completely grow, but my great-grandkids will. I want to leave a legacy better for them than what I've had it. And I've had it good, that my grandkids have it now. But I want to see my great-grandkids where they can look and say, you know what? I didn't know him, but he helped make this happen for us. And that's important to me is, can I make that happen for the future for other people? And I know how you are. I believe God first. I believe family second. And then I believe our community.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the role that I play with.
It's amazing. There's a proverb that says, a wise man plants a tree that he will never sit under the shade of. That's just the act of leaving a legacy. And that's, in today's world, you don't hear that too often, Mayor Rock. It's it's the culture of I want it now, right? So if I
want it now,
yeah, right. But people who are like, well, I'm not going to benefit from this, so why in the world would I ever do this? And that's there's a real selfish spirit in that. But what you're saying is, hey, I'll sacrifice, I'll work hard. We'll do this. I won't ever see it, but my children's children might see it.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's really, really impressive. And you, with Gas City and Upland and Marion, do you get a sense that it really could be? You're looking at it. It could be the Fishers, Noblesville, Carmel, sort of mecca of that in between Fort Wayne and Indianapolis area. Do you ever think that will all bleed together? Because you're not that far from Fishers. You're only what, 25, 30 miles from Fishers, right? So, at some point it could just grow and grow and grow, and it could all just start really kind of connecting together.
Yep.
I guess my question in all of that is, there is concern from people around the state that as we just build, we lose the small town heritage and the values that make a Gas City great. And Fishers has a lot of good things going for it. One of the concerns I have with the Fishers of the world, though, is they're losing their values. I've seen it. You've got drag shows happening in downtown Fishers, right? And I look at that, I'm like, 20 years ago, there's no way that would ever happen. This would have been God and country, community. And now nobody knows up from down, right from left, like good from evil. And so how do you protect those values as growth comes?
I think with Upland and Gas City, and maybe I used Fishers as the wrong city to compare to. I had somebody else compare it that. I don't think we'll ever become the Fishers as it is now. I think you see good values in Upland with Taylor University, St. Francis University, and Indiana Wesleyan University. And Gas City, really our city on the other side of the river that we is Jonesboro, which goes to our same school systems, and we want to see Jonesboro do well too. But I think you can keep that small town, and we've done that right now with our downtown, which every business is full, and we try to get the mom and pops there. And then out east, where the interstate is where we've put in the manufacturers, we're putting the hospitals, the Performing Arts Center is kind of in the middle or the hub of it. So I think you're always going to have that smaller feel, but a larger population. Our city was built for 15,000.
Okay.
And I'm going to stretch this, we're at 6,200 instead of the 61.
You just gained a few residents.
I'm sure people moved in there now.
The last hour, so.
After listening to us, I'm sure they're starting to buy houses there. But anyway,
amazing.
Yeah. But anyway, so if we can grow that up, and I'm hoping to get it up to around 7,500 before my next term, if I'm elected again, would be when I leave.
Yeah.
And then in 10 years, 20 years, I'd love to see that city up to around 10 or 12,000. And I'd like to see Upland continue to grow a little bit our way too. So hopefully we don't ever lose that
Values.
Yeah, the values of a family and
Yeah.
of church, and like with Taylor and IWU, that's going to help St. Francis too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, those will be good pillars of true north. You'll have colleges there that are hopefully, laying a good moral foundation for your community. To me, one of my biggest concerns is the degrading of our family, right? The who's your family, the American family, is just falling apart, and it's because we've lost our true north. We've lost the moral compass of our culture, and I think it lives and dies with leadership. I think leadership has to be the one to say, this is who we are as a community, and we're not backing off of these core foundational pillars. It's not to say we don't love everyone, but it is to say that if you're going to bring in ideas that into our community or into our state that don't resonate with who we are, then we're not just going to open up the chicken coop and let the fox come in. And to me, it seems like oftentimes for the sake of growth, people and leaders and communities will say, well, we'll just take anyone, the highest bidder, right? The highest dollar, and come on in. I mean, it could be a communist regime from China coming in to build something in your community. Oh yeah, let them come. They're giving us money,
Yeah. Now, and to kind of talk a little bit about that, we did turn down a dog food company that was going out by our 2 hospitals. We said we'd put them in a different location, but they do have an odor, I guess, to them, and they ended up going to Frankton, I believe. Is it Frankton or Frankfurt?
Frankfurt.
But so we were looking at the value of the people there. I think that what we have, and we have our football team that we try to, and our basketball, our sports team, they come up and put mulch around our military banners. We try to get our youth involved when they're younger. I truly believe they take ownership when they become adults. Yeah. And so we're trying to put that into them when they're young so that when they grow up, it's theirs. Yeah. And they take ownership. It's when you don't get them involved, you kind of, some of the old organizations, it's hard to break into that managerial or leadership. And so the youth kind of gets pushed away. We try to get our youth involved with as much as we can while they're younger. That's good. And therefore, hopefully those values will be there. At least that's my thoughts and hopes.
That's good.
Yeah.
With going back to your business experience here, I know sometimes as a business owner, and that's my background as well, you come into government and you want things to work like business, and business principles work. You know the economics of supply and demand, and your P&Ls, and all of these pretty standard business practices, common sense hiring, common sense firing if you need to. You come into government, it seems like a lot of that doesn't necessarily transfer over. It should, but did you find that when you came in where you're like, this is common sense. Why are we not doing it this way in business? And do you find yourself just banging your head on the wall every day, being like, why can't people see this? Because I do. I will be honest with you. I will find myself in how is government not able to see this sometimes?
I really don't get that, and that's a daily struggle because we've had some successful businesses, and the one is still a successful business that my wife runs and I get the credit for. Which I like to take. It's got my name on it.
There you go, man.
But anyway,
listen. Behind every good man and successful man, there's a wonderful woman asking the question, "How did I end up with a guy like this?"
Yeah, well, I'm sure a lot of people are asking how she ended up with a guy like this. But anyway, some of us, get lucky, I guess.
I know. God smiles down on us.
But you always find out the harder you work, the luckier you get too. But no, it is. It's you scratch your head, and I think even the guys I brought with me today, the police chief Christian Houston and city engineer Jason Miller, see that why can't everybody understand? It's just common sense. Where are we losing that common sense? Everything we're trying to do or doing is going to be great for our community. There's not one thing that as I don't even like to tag myself as a politician, and I don't really tag you as a politician. I know you're very passionate for Indiana, and you're doing a wonderful job, in my opinion. But we don't understand that, and I've told people this, I said there's not one person in government that goes in there and says, let me see what I can screw up.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
We're all going in there to make it better for everybody. And we can't understand, or I can't understand sometimes, why they can't see that everything we're doing is for them.
Yeah.
It's not a personal
yeah.
gain.
You're right. I think that's well said, Mayor, because there are times people be like, you hate me, you hate us. I'm like, I'm doing this because I actually love you, and I feel like if we go this direction, you'll be better off. It's kind of like, sometimes I feel like it's like children. You're trying to, no, this will actually work out well, and they just, and not to say that we're right all the time, but oftentimes I think people miss the heart, behind guys like you or me, where we're saying, no, this is, I'm really truly doing this because I want to help you, and I believe this is what will help you. So, well, Mayor, that's you're doing a great job, and I just very impressed with your leadership. Tell people that are listening to this where they can go to find out more information about Gas City, how they can connect with you. I mean, sounds like they can just call your house business or or your cell phone. It'll all go to the same place.
Cell phone goes to the same place.
Is Jason's phone routed to your phone too? So if you call Jason,
Well,
it goes there. You might as well just.
I do call Jason quite a bit. Even when he's on vacation, I don't let him rest.
I love it.
I'm sure you're like that too. Your mind is always turning, and even my wife, Sandy, has said, can't you turn this off? We're on vacation. I'm not built that way.
Yeah.
If it's on my mind, I got to get an answer. I got to try to get an answer as quickly as I can.
Yeah.
As Caitlin probably found out that, when I want something, I keep calling.
I love it. I will give you a huge shout out. My team, as they've been dealing with you, they always say, like, this mayor's the nicest guy ever. He's very, very thoughtful. He's really, he's just, you left an impact on my team, just the way that you've been communicating with them. And so, it might seem small to you, but people recognize that. So, yeah, I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate that too, because sometimes I feel like that I'm probably a little more of a pest than helpful, but no.
Well, that's how you get things done, though, too. I mean, you called the guy skiing,
Oh, absolutely.
And you said, no, you're obviously not skiing. Sit down, and we're going to, we'll talk right now. Sometimes it takes leadership like that.
Had we not called him while he was skiing, we probably would have never got that job, because Charlie found that very amusing, that he would get a phone call, and then when he said, no, I'm on vacation, I'm skiing, I said, hey, just put your butt in a bench, get you a drink, and I'll pay for it. And I can finish the story with him real quick. He comes down and looks, and he comes out, and he's looking at different places, and he finally chose the spot he was at. And he goes, take me back to my car. And I turned right, going by Taylor. He goes, I said you could take me back to my car. And I said, well, Charlie, you said you probably would come. When you say you will come, then it's a long walk from here to Batesville. And actually, I was just driving around Taylor to look at deer if there was any out. Him and I have come, it's like we knew each other all our lives.
That's so cool.
So it was good.
I love it. So how can people find out the city? You got a Facebook page. You got a great concert page. I follow that one.
Yep. That's thegascitypac.com or the Gas City Performing Arts Center. And remember the in front of it.
Is there another Gas City somewhere?
Yeah, there's another one that from the replacement we made on different manager. So he still has the web page, but ours, we had to put a the in front of it.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's getting used more now, so it goes directly to that, but we just want people to remember.
Is there another Gas City that, like, in the country? Are you guys the only one?
Not one with a mayor like me.
Okay. Well, yeah, duh. I mean,
no, there isn't. I don't know if there is or is not. None that I'm aware of. But no, we try to keep it out there in the forefront as much as we can, and we like to brag about our city. We're proud of our city, and we're proud of the things that we're getting accomplished in the city. And again, it's not, as you notice, I keep putting a we.
Yeah.
because
It's a
it
team.
takes everybody around us to make this happen. So when I don't know nothing, which is most of the time, I go to my engineer, or I go to my attorney, or I go to my police chief or human resource. But they're very knowledgeable and they're very helpful. And they'll even tell me, hey, I don't think this will work, tweak it here. And I think 99% of the time I've tweaked it. And then that 1% of the time, I get a little stubborn and say, no, we're going to make it happen this way.
Hey, and while I got you here, tell people listening about the Civil War reenactment. Is it Civil War or Battle 1812?
It's 1812.
I'm sorry, 1812. Yes.
Although we might have something happening like that.
Okay.
Too. So, but the 1812 reenactment is now moved to Gas City. It's going on 37 years where they have a historical reenactment of the British and the Indians along the Mississinawa River, because that's where both traveled from, the settlers and the Indians. So we moved it over to Gas City in a 229-acre old gravel pit. And it's really beautiful back there. And so their other spot they had was about 40 acres, 49 acres. So, but we wanted to make it a year-round thing. We're kind of like a Conner Prairie, to where you can bring in field trips, educate kids on history, different things. And so this will be the first year that it's moved to Gas City, and it's on October 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And so we're hoping that people get there and watch this reenactment. It's a fun. There's 100 not-for-profit vendors out there that give back to the community. There was 1.5 million 2 years ago when they did it, given back to Grant County from the not-for-profit. So it's huge for
Grant County.
For Grant County.
Oh, that's fantastic. Wonderful. Well, Mayor, really grateful for what you're doing. I'm going to give you one of our challenge coins here from the Lieutenant Governor's office, and on the back of it says "Faith, Family, and Freedom." And it has Matthew 6:33, which says, "Seek first the kingdom of God and all of His righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you." And so these, and I think that's what you're doing. You're embodying those core tenets: faith, family, and freedom in Gas City. Your team's doing it, and you guys are, I think, really leading the way. Even though you may be a small city,
large in heart.
You are very large in heart, and you're doing it right. And I think it goes back to fundamentals. Any coach, any good basketball coach will tell you it lives or dies on the fundamentals, right? And so you guys are fundamentally doing it right. So thanks for what you're doing. Yep. Appreciate you. Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on the show today.
All right. Thank you for having me.